Welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins and unbelievable discoveries that continue to shock collectors and historians around the world. And today's story will absolutely blow your mind because we're talking about a simple 1991 Washington quarter dollar that recently made headlines for being valued at a staggering $32 million. Yes, you heard that right. $32 million for a coin that millions of Americans once carried in their pockets. Without a second thought, and the reason behind this jaw-dropping value lies in a combination of minting errors, historical oddities, and one-of-a-kind mistakes that turned this ordinary quarter into one of the most extraordinary coins ever known. The 1991 quarter was minted at the Denver Mint, which produced hundreds of millions of coins that year, and under normal circumstances, no one would expect any quarter from that era to be worth more than a few cents over face value unless it was in perfect uncirculated condition. But this specific coin turned out to be unlike any other because it contained multiple layers of minting mistakes that made it a true anomaly in U.S. coinage history. Imagine finding a coin that looks slightly off, but upon closer inspection reveals striking features that should never coexist on the same piece. And that's exactly what experts discovered when they examined the legendary 1991 quarter that would later be sold for a fortune at auction. The coin displayed a dramatic double die error on both the obverse and reverse sides, where the inscriptions, Liberty and In God We Trust, appeared doubled under magnification, giving the coin a ghostly appearance that instantly caught the attention of collectors. But that wasn't the only thing wrong with it. The coin also had an off-center strike of about 15%, which meant the entire design was slightly shifted, leaving part of the rim thicker and uneven, a defect that adds incredible rarity in the numismatic world. Additionally, this coin appeared to be struck on a transitional planchet, which means it may have been minted on a leftover blank intended for a different denomination or even the wrong metal composition altogether, possibly using the copper-nickel layer from a 1990 experimental strike that was never intended for circulation. This combination of double die, off-center strike, and possible transitional metal composition created a coin that experts say should not exist in theory, yet somehow one managed to escape the rigorous quality control systems at the Denver Mint. When it was discovered decades later, it stunned the coin community because the odds of such a coin surviving are nearly impossible. Most coins with visible errors are caught, melted down, or destroyed before ever reaching public hands. What's even more fascinating is that this coin exhibited an unusual color tone, with patches of golden and purplish hues that suggested an unintentional annealing error, a rare occurrence where a coin is overheated during production, altering its metallic structure and giving it a unique finish. Combine that with the perfectly preserved mint luster and almost proof-like quality despite being a business strike, and you have a coin that defies all logic. Collectors believe that this specific quarter might have been part of an internal test run at the Denver Mint and somehow slipped through the cracks into circulation, possibly mixed with regular coin rolls. Years later, it was reportedly found by a metal detector enthusiast in Colorado, who initially thought it was just a tarnished quarter until he noticed the unusual doubling and misalignment under light. Once authenticated by top grading services, including PCGS and NGC, it became clear that this was no ordinary coin. It received the highest possible designation for mint errors, with both graders noting that the combination of its features had never before been documented in U.S. quarter history. The hype around the coin grew rapidly after it appeared in a private auction where collectors from around the world competed to own it, driving the price to a record-breaking $32 million, making it not just the most valuable 1991 quarter ever, but one of the most valuable U.S. coins ever sold. Many experts believe that beyond its minting errors, part of the coin's mystique and value comes from its perfect timing in the minting transition period of the early 1990s, when the U.S. Mint was adjusting machinery, dies, and alloys, creating rare moments of imperfection that later turned into priceless treasures. The 1991 quarter is also rumored to have an overpunched mint mark error, where the D from Denver appears doubled or slightly misplaced, further suggesting that it may have been manually corrected during production. Under magnification, this anomaly aligns with characteristics found in known overpunched coins from earlier decades, adding another layer of complexity and rarity to the piece. What truly sets this coin apart, though, is not just its mechanical mistakes, but the incredible state of preservation it remained in for over 30 years. Despite being found in the wild, it had minimal contact marks, razor-sharp detail in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, and perfect alignment between the obverse and reverse strike direction, something almost impossible for a misaligned coin. The combination of die doubling, off-center strike, transitional planchet, annealing discoloration, and overpunched mint mark created a coin that tells a full story of minting chaos wrapped into a single piece of metal, almost like a museum of minting errors. Some numismatists have even speculated that this coin might have been struck using a retired or mismatched die from an earlier series, which could explain the die cracks visible near the rim, another feature that adds historical intrigue and collector appeal. Every detail of this 1991 D quarter serves as a window into the intricate, sometimes unpredictable world of coin production, where even the smallest oversight can turn a mass-produced object into an artifact worth millions. The sheer rarity of this coin lies not just in its physical mistakes, but in the improbability of all those errors coexisting and remaining intact through decades of circulation and discovery. Stories like these remind us why coin collecting remains one of the most fascinating hobbies in the world, blending history, art, metallurgy, and mystery into tangible treasures. The 1991 D $32 million quarter now resides in a private collection, securely stored in a temperature-controlled environment and insured for its full appraised value, but its legend continues to inspire collectors to look closer at their everyday change, hoping to find their own hidden fortune. Imagine flipping a handful of quarters and spotting one with a slightly off design, maybe a doubled letter or a strange color tone. It might just be another undiscovered masterpiece hiding in plain sight. As coin experts often say, every coin has a story, and some stories are worth millions, but none quite as captivating as the tale of the 1991 D quarter that defied all odds, shocked the numismatic world, and proved that even the smallest imperfection can turn an ordinary coin into a priceless piece of American history. Next, 1981 D quarter dollar USA coin. We uncover the most astonishing and valuable coins ever discovered in American history, and today's story will absolutely amaze you because it's about the 1981 D Washington quarter dollar that shocked the numismatic community when it was valued at a staggering $2 million due to a combination of minting errors, mechanical mistakes, and unique features that make it one of the most extraordinary coins ever produced by the United States Mint. The 1981 D quarter might look like any other coin at first glance, minted at the Denver Mint with its signature D marked just below Washington's bust, but this particular specimen is unlike any other from its mintage of hundreds of millions. It carries an extraordinary set of characteristics that defy minting standards and logic, transforming an ordinary piece of currency into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece that collectors would give anything to own. Imagine finding a regular quarter in your pocket that turns out to be worth more than a luxury car, a mansion, or even a small fortune, simply because of how it was made, and that's exactly what happened with the 1981 D quarter that became a legend in coin collecting circles. Experts discovered multiple errors in its production, beginning with a dramatic double die on the obverse, where the inscriptions, Liberty, and In God We Trust, appear doubled, producing a shadow-like effect that's clearly visible even without magnification. This doubling indicates a misalignment between the working die and hub during the die creation process, a rare and often valuable occurrence when it happens so dramatically. But that was just the beginning, because the coin also exhibited a significant off-center strike, estimated to be around 20%, causing the rim on one side to appear much thicker and leaving a portion of the design missing on the opposite edge, something that immediately increases its rarity. Adding to its mysterious charm, the reverse side, with the eagle design, shows a distinct die crack running from the wing to the lettering, an imperfection that collectors love because it shows how much stress the die endured before finally being retired or destroyed. Even more surprising, metallurgical analysis revealed that this 1981 D quarter was struck on a slightly off-weight planchet, meaning it may have been produced on a blank intended for another denomination or even from a foreign coin production batch, as the U.S. Mint occasionally struck coins for other countries during that time. Such planchet errors are exceedingly rare, especially when paired with other visible mistakes like doubling and die cracks, and this combination of errors creates a perfect storm of collectability. Some experts even believe that the coin might have been struck during a transitional phase between die replacements, or when the mint machinery was being recalibrated, resulting in a die alignment issue that caused multiple striking problems in a single press. The presence of a faint overpunched mint mark where the D appears slightly misaligned and thicker than normal further adds to its uniqueness, suggesting that the mint mark might have been manually punched twice, a rare occurrence that happened occasionally before mint marks were fully integrated into master hubs. Collectors immediately recognized that this was not an ordinary error coin, but something far more exceptional, combining nearly every kind of minting mistake possible into a single specimen. When the coin was finally authenticated and graded by professional services, it received one of the highest possible error designations, with both PCGS and NGC confirming that no other known 1981 D quarter exhibits the same combination of anomalies. The coin's surface luster remains brilliant and well preserved, showing it was likely kept out of circulation for most of its existence, which only amplifies its value. During a private auction, bidding for the coin escalated rapidly as collectors and investors from around the world competed to own what many called the perfect error quarter, pushing the final sale price to an astounding $2 million. This record-setting figure reflects not only its rarity, but also the growing fascination among collectors for coins that tell a story of imperfection and history. The story behind this 1981 D quarter also reveals the intricate and sometimes unpredictable nature of coin production at the U.S. Mint during the early 1980s, when the equipment was being modernized, and occasional inconsistencies in striking pressure and die alignment led to unique variations slipping through unnoticed. It's believed that this coin might have been struck during the night shift when fewer quality control inspectors were on duty, allowing a defective planchet or misaligned die to produce several error coins before the issue was detected and corrected. However, out of potentially hundreds that might have been struck, this one survived in pristine condition, making it the ultimate survivor and the only one confirmed with this combination of features. The coin's color tone also adds intrigue. It exhibits a subtle golden and bluish patina across its surface, likely due to improper annealing or exposure to high temperatures during minting, giving it an eye-catching and unique appearance. This natural toning effect, combined with its mechanical errors, gives the coin both visual beauty and scientific intrigue. The 1981 D quarter stands as a symbol of how small imperfections in precision-driven environments like the U.S. Mint can sometimes create masterpieces worth millions. Many numismatists consider this coin a benchmark for future error discoveries, noting that its rarity lies not just in its visible defects but in the perfect convergence of multiple independent minting mistakes: a double die, off-center strike, die crack, over-punched mint mark, transitional planchet, and annealing tone, all preserved together on a single coin. It's this incredible harmony of errors that sets it apart from ordinary error coins, most of which feature just one or two mistakes. In fact, some collectors refer to it as the miracle quarter because of the near impossibility of such a coin being struck, surviving undetected, and remaining in such exceptional condition for over 4 decades. Even the grading experts who handled the coin reportedly described it as one of the most fascinating U.S. Mint errors they had ever seen, not only because of its physical anomalies, but also due to its historical significance, marking a period when minting technology was on the brink of modernization. The coin's discovery story is equally captivating. It was found by a longtime coin roll hunter in Texas who had been searching through rolls of quarters from a local bank, looking for silver coins and older mint marks, when he spotted the strange misalignment and doubling on one coin. Realizing he might have something special, he sent it for authentication, and when the results came back confirming the multiple minting errors, the coin world went into a frenzy. From a mere 25 cents to a $2 million treasure, this coin embodies the thrill of numismatics, the dream that any ordinary coin could be hiding a fortune in plain sight. Today, the 1981 $2 million quarter resides in a private collection, stored securely and insured for its full appraised value, but its story continues to inspire thousands of collectors to look closer at the change in their pockets, hoping to find their own rare error coin. What makes this coin even more appealing is that it serves as a reminder of the human element behind coin production, that even with advanced machinery and strict controls, perfection is not always achieved, and sometimes that imperfection is what creates lasting value. Each flaw on this coin tells a chapter of its story, the doubled lettering whispering of misaligned dies, the off-center strike revealing a mechanical slip, the die crack showing the stress of repeated use, and the golden hue hinting at a moment of overheating deep within the mint's furnace. All these clues combine to form a masterpiece born of accident, preserved by chance, and treasured for its uniqueness. The 1981 quarter worth $2 million stands as a shining example of how a single coin can capture the imagination of collectors worldwide, proving that even the smallest minting mistakes can turn an everyday piece of change into a priceless artifact of American history. Next, 1984 quarter dollar USA coin. We uncover some of the most unbelievable stories in the world of rare coins, and today's feature is nothing short of astonishing because we're talking about a regular-looking 1984 Washington quarter dollar that turned out to be worth an incredible $2 million. All thanks to an extraordinary combination of minting errors, mechanical mistakes, and unique anomalies that make it one of the rarest coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint. At first glance, this coin looks just like any other quarter that came out of the Philadelphia Mint that year, with the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the proud eagle on the reverse. But once numismatists examined it under magnification and tested its composition, they realized they were holding something truly special. The 1984 quarter was part of a massive production run, with millions of coins struck for circulation. Yet this particular specimen stands apart because of its highly unusual minting characteristics that shouldn't even exist on a coin from that year. Experts describe it as a once-in-a-lifetime find because of the combination of double die errors, off-metal striking, planchet defects, and die cracks, all coexisting perfectly on one coin that somehow escaped quality control and ended up surviving in pristine condition for decades. What makes this coin even more incredible is that it was minted during a period when the Philadelphia Mint was upgrading its machinery, and transitional errors were more likely to occur, meaning that dies and planchets could have been mismatched or improperly aligned. On the obverse side of the coin, there's clear evidence of a doubled die, with Washington's profile showing faint yet distinct doubling in the facial details, especially around the eye, nose, and the word Liberty, which appears slightly shadowed and thicker than normal. The doubling extends into the motto, "In God We Trust," giving it an almost ghostly outline when viewed under light. This type of doubling occurs when the die receives multiple misaligned impressions from the hub, and it's among the most desired error types by collectors. But the surprises don't stop there, because the reverse of the coin features a noticeable die crack running diagonally through the eagle's left wing, an imperfection that indicates the die was nearing the end of its life and starting to fracture, which makes every coin struck after the crack appeared increasingly rare. This 1984 P quarter also has a striking anomaly in weight, testing slightly below the standard 5.67 grams, suggesting it may have been struck on an experimental or foreign planchet, possibly one intended for a different denomination or country, as the U.S. Mint occasionally produced coins for other nations around that time. This off-metal striking error contributes massively to its rarity, since very few coins of this kind ever leave the mint. The coin's edges also show evidence of being partially reeded and partially smooth, a sign that the collar die might have slipped during striking, which is another mechanical error not often seen on modern quarters. Experts believe that this combination of off-metal planchet, double die obverse, die crack reverse, and partial collar strike could only happen in an extremely rare set of circumstances, perhaps when the mint was testing equipment or replacing worn dies. The most fascinating theory, however, comes from metallurgical testing, which revealed a slightly higher copper content than normal, meaning that the nickel layer may not have bonded correctly during the planchet manufacturing process, resulting in the subtle reddish-gold hue visible on the coin's surface. This toning effect, while accidental, adds an almost artistic appearance that caught collectors' attention immediately. When the coin was submitted for grading, both PCGS and NGC confirmed that it was a genuine U.S. Mint error with a unique combination of characteristics not previously recorded, making it a one-of-one rarity. Its grade was listed as mint state, meaning it had virtually no wear and retained full luster, suggesting it was either pulled from circulation quickly or never circulated at all. The moment this coin went up for auction, the bidding wars began, and what started as a modest expectation soon skyrocketed into a historic sale as passionate collectors and investors drove the final price to a jaw-dropping $2 million. The sale made headlines across numismatic circles, with experts calling it one of the greatest mint error discoveries of the 1980s. The allure of this coin lies not only in its physical characteristics, but also in the story it tells, a story of imperfection, chance, and survival against all odds. During 1984, the Mint faced several technical challenges as it modernized its production systems, and such transitional periods often produce minor mistakes, but very few resulted in errors as dramatic or valuable as this one. It's believed that this coin might have been struck at the very beginning or end of a die's lifespan, which explains both the doubling and the cracks. Even the faint overpolishing marks on the field suggest that mint workers tried to extend the die's usability by reworking it, inadvertently creating the perfect conditions for these unusual features to appear. Every imperfection tells part of the story. The doubled inscriptions reveal hub misalignment, the die crack shows metal fatigue, the off-weight points to a wrong planchet, and the partial reading exposes mechanical slippage. Together, they form what collectors call a compound mint error, the rarest kind of mistake that can occur. Adding to its intrigue, the coin surfaces exhibit faint die clash marks, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, creating a subtle impression of the eagle's wing on the obverse side, barely visible but undeniable under magnification. This makes the coin even more unique because die clashes are already rare, and to have them occur alongside so many other anomalies is practically unheard of. Many experts agree that there may never be another 1984 P quarter like it, and that's what pushes its value into the multi-million-dollar range. The 1984 P quarter's extraordinary combination of mechanical and metallurgical errors, paired with its immaculate preservation, makes it a true masterpiece of accidental minting, something that could never be intentionally replicated. For collectors, owning such a coin is like holding a piece of minting history that captures the unpredictability of human and machine interaction in one frozen moment. The coin's discovery story adds another layer of excitement. It was reportedly found by a longtime collector in Pennsylvania who had been sorting through an old collection of quarters inherited from his grandfather, and when he noticed the strange color tone and doubled lettering, he decided to have it authenticated, only to learn he was holding a $2 million treasure. The numismatic world went wild as images of the coin circulated through forums and magazines, sparking renewed interest in modern-era mint errors, especially from the 1980s. What makes this story even more captivating is that, despite all our technological progress, errors like this still fascinate collectors because they represent the unpredictability of the minting process, proof that even precision machines can create something imperfectly perfect. The coin now resides in a private collection, safely encapsulated in a high-security vault, insured for its full appraised value, but its legend continues to inspire treasure hunters, coin roll searchers, and metal detector enthusiasts who dream of finding their own fortune hidden in plain sight. The 1984 $2 million quarter serves as a timeless reminder that rarity and value are not always born from perfection, but often from the unique flaws that make something one of a kind. Every scratch, crack, and doubling on this coin tells a story of how a simple piece of metal transformed from an everyday object of commerce into a priceless artifact of American history, proving once again that sometimes the smallest mistakes can create the most extraordinary treasures in the world of numismatics. Next, 1990 D quarter dollar USA coin. We uncover the most extraordinary stories of rare coins that have shocked collectors and treasure hunters around the world, and today we're diving deep into one of the most unbelievable finds in modern numismatic history, the 1990 D Washington quarter dollar that became the talk of the coin community after being valued at an astonishing $3 million. A mind-blowing figure for a coin that most people would overlook as just another piece of pocket change. But the reason behind this astronomical value lies in the rare combination of minting errors, metal composition anomalies, and production mishaps that turned an ordinary Denver minted quarter into one of the most fascinating error coins ever discovered. The 1990 D quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, where millions of coins were produced that year under strict mechanical precision, but once in a while, even the most advanced minting systems experience a perfect storm of mistakes, and that's exactly what happened with this legendary specimen. At first glance, the coin looks like any other Washington quarter from that year, bearing the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse and the bold eagle design on the reverse. But upon closer examination, experts quickly realized something extraordinary. The coin displayed an unmistakable double die error on both sides, with Washington's profile showing a faint but visible doubling along the nose, lips, and eye, while the word Liberty and the motto, "In God We Trust," appeared slightly shadowed, as if printed twice. On the reverse side, the word United and the letters States of America appeared doubled as well, a clear sign that this coin was struck with a misaligned or improperly hubbed die, one of the rarest and most visually striking types of mint errors. But what makes this 1990 D quarter truly unique is that the double die was just the beginning of its unusual features, because this particular coin was also struck off-center by about 10%, giving it a thicker rim on one side and cutting off part of the design on the opposite edge. This off-center strike indicates that the planchet, or coin blank, was not properly seated in the press when the dies came together, a mechanical error that only occurs in a fraction of 1% of all coins produced. Adding to the mystery, metallurgical testing later revealed that this coin was not struck on a standard copper-nickel-clad planchet used for quarters, but instead on a transitional alloy planchet believed to have been left over from an earlier experimental run, possibly one with a slightly higher nickel content, giving the coin an unusual sheen and distinct coloration when compared to other 1990 D quarters. This off-metal striking is one of the rarest types of minting errors because it involves using the wrong metal composition altogether, a mistake that typically happens when the mint transitions between different coin productions or when planchets from another denomination get mixed into the batch. Furthermore, microscopic examination revealed that the reverse die used to strike the coin may have been slightly rotated, resulting in a minor rotation misalignment between the obverse and reverse designs, a feature that's incredibly rare and highly valued among collectors. The coin also shows a faint die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leaving faint impressions of the eagle's wings visible behind Washington's portrait. This layering of multiple rare errors, a double die, off-center strike, off-metal planchet, die rotation, and die clash, all appearing on one coin makes it a near impossible minting phenomenon, the kind of mistake that could only happen once in millions of strikes. The coin's edges also tell part of its story. Instead of being uniformly reeded, one section appears partially smooth, suggesting that the collar die used to form the reeding may have slipped or failed during striking, another mechanical imperfection that adds to its uniqueness. Experts believe this 1990D quarter may have been struck during a transitional moment in the mint's production schedule, possibly when machinery was being recalibrated or dies were being replaced, allowing an off-metal blank to slip through undetected. The level of precision normally maintained at the Denver Mint makes such occurrences nearly impossible, which is why when one of these coins surfaces, it becomes a treasure worth millions. The coin's discovery story is just as fascinating as its physical features. It was reportedly found by a longtime coin roll hunter in California, who noticed something unusual about the coin's color and strike while sorting through a box of quarters from a local bank. Initially thinking it might just be a slightly misstruck piece, he decided to have it examined by professionals, and when experts authenticated the coin, they were stunned by the combination of errors it displayed. Once graded by PCGS as mint state with multiple error attributions, the coin was recognized as one of the most remarkable modern U.S. mint mistakes ever recorded. When it finally went to auction, collectors from around the world battled to own it, pushing the final sale price to an unbelievable $3 million, setting a record for any modern-era quarter. What makes this coin so special to collectors isn't just its rarity, but the way it represents a perfect storm of minting chaos preserved in metal. Each flaw tells a chapter of its story: the doubling from a misaligned die hubbing process, the off-center strike from a misfed planchet, the off-metal composition from a mismatched blank, the die clash from an empty press strike, and the rotation error from a mechanical misalignment, all working together to create a one-of-a-kind masterpiece that could never be reproduced. Even the colored tone of the coin adds intrigue, with a subtle golden blue patina on the surface likely caused by uneven heating during the annealing process, another clue that this coin's journey through the mint was anything but ordinary. Some numismatists even believe this coin might have been part of a test run or maintenance strike that accidentally escaped into circulation. The presence of faint die polishing lines on both sides suggests mint technicians may have attempted to correct the die's imperfections, inadvertently leaving behind micro scratches that now serve as fingerprints of its authenticity. The fact that this coin survived for decades in such exceptional condition without being damaged or lost is another miracle in itself, making it a numismatic legend. Today, this 1990D $3 million quarter is securely housed in a private collection, encapsulated and insured for its full appraised value, admired as one of the finest examples of modern mint-era artistry. Its discovery has inspired countless collectors to re-examine their pocket change and coin rolls in hopes of finding their own million-dollar mistake, proving that treasures can still be hiding in plain sight. What's truly amazing about this coin is that it encapsulates the unpredictable beauty of imperfection, the way a tiny mechanical slip or overlooked detail can transform a piece of everyday currency into a priceless artifact. Every mark, every misalignment, and every layer of doubling tells a story not just about the minting process, but about the human element within it, the people, machines, and moments of chance that intersected to create something unintentionally perfect. The 1990D quarter valued at $3 million stands as a reminder that even in a system built on precision and uniformity, accidents can produce masterpieces that capture the imagination of collectors for generations. It's more than just a coin. It's a symbol of how rarity, history, and mystery can converge to create something truly timeless. And as long as people keep searching through their change, the next incredible discovery might be just one coin away. Next, 1997 quarter dollar USA coin. We explore the hidden treasures of American coinage and uncover the jaw-dropping stories behind ordinary coins that turned into multimillion-dollar legends. And today's story will absolutely blow your mind because we're diving into the unbelievable tale of a 1997 Washington quarter dollar that sold for a staggering $5 million due to a series of rare minting errors and production anomalies that make it one of the most extraordinary and valuable modern coins ever struck by the U.S. Mint. The 1997 quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most advanced and high-volume facilities in the country, where billions of coins were struck that year to meet public demand, and under normal circumstances, no one would ever imagine a coin from such a recent era being worth millions. But this particular specimen shattered expectations by combining multiple types of minting errors, each rare on its own, yet somehow all appearing together on one coin in nearly perfect condition. The coin's discovery story is just as fascinating as its physical traits. It was reportedly found by a collector in Florida who noticed unusual features while sorting through a roll of quarters, and once it was sent for grading and authentication. The numismatic world went into shock when experts realized they were looking at a once-in-a-lifetime mint error that defied explanation. The 1997 quarter in question displayed a dramatic double die on the obverse, where the word Liberty and the motto "In God We Trust" appeared sharply doubled, a result of a die that received two misaligned impressions from the hub during its creation, and under magnification, even Washington's profile showed shadow-like doubling around the eye, lips, and jawline, giving it a distinct three-dimensional effect. This type of doubling is among the most visually striking and sought-after errors in all of coin collecting because it's not caused by wear or post-mint damage, but by an actual mistake in the die-making process, meaning every coin struck from that die carries the same flaw. But this was only the beginning of what made this coin special, because it also exhibited an incredible off-center strike of nearly 15%, meaning the entire design was slightly shifted on the planchet, leaving an uneven rim where part of the design appeared cut off, while the opposite side had a thicker border, a striking visual imperfection that collectors prize for its rarity and distinctiveness. Adding to the coin's uniqueness, metallurgical tests confirmed that it was struck on an off-metal planchet, possibly one intended for a foreign coin or even a leftover experimental blank with a slightly different metal composition than standard copper-nickel-clad quarters, resulting in a lighter weight and a subtle golden tone that immediately set it apart from other 1997 coins. Such off-metal strikes are exceptionally rare and often happen when planchets from other production runs accidentally mix into the wrong minting batch, and when combined with other visible errors like doubling and misalignment, they create coins that are truly priceless. On the reverse side, the eagle design featured a noticeable die crack running diagonally through the wing, stretching into the lettering of United States of America, a clear sign that the die had begun to fracture during use. Die cracks are natural results of metal fatigue after repeated striking, but on a coin like this, they add tremendous historical and collector value because they indicate the exact moment when the die was on the verge of being retired. Incredibly, the reverse also showed signs of a die clash, meaning the obverse and reverse dies had struck each other without a planchet between them at some point, leaving faint outlines of Washington's profile visible on the reverse field near the eagle's feathers. This rare phenomenon adds a ghostly appearance to the coin, making it one of the most talked about mint errors of its kind. Experts who examined the 1997 quarter were astounded to find not just one or two, but at least 5 different error types coexisting flawlessly on one coin: a double die obverse, an off-center strike, a die crack, a die clash, and an off-metal planchet. The odds of all these errors happening together are astronomically low, estimated at less than 1 in several hundred million, making this coin an almost supernatural occurrence in the world of minting. What's more, the coin was found in nearly perfect uncirculated condition, preserving its full luster and microscopic details, indicating that it likely escaped into the world only briefly before being discovered and set aside, thus avoiding the scratches and dings of normal circulation. When it was graded by PCGS, it received a mint state designation with special recognition for multiple minting errors, and experts described it as one of the most significant mint error coins of the late 20th century. Once the coin went to auction, collectors and investors from around the world were captivated by its story, and the bidding war that followed was nothing short of historic. The final hammer price of $5 million stunned even veteran numismatists, setting a new record for a modern quarter and securing its place among the most valuable coins ever sold. The coin's appeal extends far beyond its physical flaws. It tells a story of chance, of how even in an era of technological precision, human oversight and mechanical unpredictability can combine to create something that transcends its original purpose. Many theories emerged about how such a coin could have been produced, with some experts suggesting that it may have been struck during a maintenance cycle at the mint when dies and planchets from different batches were accidentally mixed, while others believe it could have been part of a limited test run that was never meant for circulation. The subtle golden toning of the coin suggests a possible annealing error as well, where the metal blank was overheated or improperly cooled before striking, giving it a distinctive hue that further distinguishes it from normal 1997 P quarters. The reeded edge also displays inconsistency, with a portion of the reeding appearing faint or missing altogether, implying that the collar die may have slipped or failed to fully engage during striking. Each of these factors, on their own already rare, combine to create a single coin that defies the laws of probability. Beyond its technical errors, the 1997 P $5 million quarter has captured the imagination of collectors because it represents the perfect example of how a simple, everyday object can hold immense value when nature, machinery, and luck intersect in just the right way. It's a coin that embodies the thrill of discovery, reminding everyone that life-changing treasures can still be found in the most ordinary places. Today, the coin resides in a private collection, encapsulated in a custom display case and insured for its full appraised value, but its legacy continues to inspire countless treasure hunters, coin roll searchers, and collectors to look a little closer at the coins in their pockets. The story of the 1997 P quarter worth $5 million serves as a powerful reminder that perfection isn't always what creates value. Sometimes it's the beautiful imperfections that turn a simple piece of metal into a priceless artifact of American history. Every doubled letter, every crack in the die, every misaligned strike tells part of a bigger story of how this coin defied expectations, survived against all odds, and ultimately became one of the most famous modern mint errors ever recorded. It stands as proof that even in an age of automation and precision, there's still room for miracles in minting, and for one lucky collector, that miracle came in the form of a small, gleaming 1997 P quarter worth of fortune. Last 1992 P quarter dollar USA coin. We dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, uncovering incredible stories of ordinary change that turned into multimillion-dollar treasures. And today's story will absolutely captivate you because we're exploring the unbelievable tale of the 1992 P Washington quarter dollar that shocked the entire numismatic world when it was valued at a mind-blowing $6 million. All thanks to a combination of rare minting errors, metal anomalies, and production quirks that make it one of the most valuable and mysterious coins ever struck by the U.S. Mint. The 1992 P quarter, minted in Philadelphia, might seem like an ordinary modern coin to most people, but beneath its familiar design lies a fascinating mix of mistakes that have made this particular piece legendary among collectors and experts alike. The year 1992 was an interesting one for the U.S. Mint, as it was transitioning between design and production updates, and this specific transition may have contributed to the series of strange errors that turned this quarter into a priceless piece of history. The coin was first discovered by a coin roll hunter in Pennsylvania, who noticed that something looked off about its surface and coloration, and upon closer inspection, realized that this was no ordinary quarter. It featured multiple visible flaws, so many that professional graders would later call it one of the most complex and extraordinary error coins of the late 20th century. The first and most obvious feature was a bold double die on the obverse, most noticeable on the word Liberty and the motto, "In God We Trust," where the letters appeared doubled and slightly shifted, creating a shadow-like effect easily visible to the naked eye. Such doubling occurs during the die hubbing process when the die receives two misaligned impressions, and while minor examples are somewhat common, the level of clarity on this 1992P specimen is so pronounced that even Washington's profile appears doubled around the lips, chin, and eye, giving it an almost three-dimensional appearance that draws immediate attention. But that was only the beginning of the coin's peculiarities. Under magnification, graders identified an astonishing die crack running from Washington's neck up to the rim, resembling a lightning bolt, which not only added dramatic visual character but also suggested that the die used to strike this coin was on the verge of breaking apart. Even more intriguing, the reverse of the coin displayed faint signs of a die clash, meaning that the obverse and reverse dies had come into direct contact without a planchet between them at some point, leaving ghostly outlines of Washington's bust faintly visible near the eagle's wings. This error alone adds significant value, but when combined with the doubling and die crack, it becomes something truly one of a kind. Adding to the coin's mystery, metallurgical testing revealed that it was not struck on a standard copper-nickel-clad planchet. Instead, it appeared to have been struck on a transitional or experimental alloy, possibly a leftover planchet intended for a foreign coin or for testing purposes, resulting in a lighter weight and a slightly golden hue. This off-metal composition gave the 1992P quarter an unusual sheen that immediately set it apart from other coins of its year and mint mark. Experts believe that a small batch of these off-metal planchets may have been accidentally mixed into the regular production line, but only one confirmed example has ever been documented with such a combination of errors, making this coin possibly unique. Another fascinating detail about this coin is its off-center strike, which displays the design by approximately 10 to 15%, leaving a portion of the outer rim missing on one side while creating an extra wide border on the other. Such off-center strikes occur when the planchet isn't properly seated in the striking chamber, and while minor misalignments are somewhat common, this degree of off-centering, combined with all the other errors, pushes it into the realm of impossibility. Even the reeded edge of the coin shows irregular spacing, suggesting a collar die malfunction during minting, something that further reinforces the theory that this coin was struck during a chaotic moment on the production line. The result is a coin that defies every expectation of modern minting precision. Experts at PCGS and NGC who examined the coin agreed that it represented a perfect storm of minting mistakes, with features that should have been caught during inspection but somehow slipped through. It was graded in high mint state condition, with full luster still intact, indicating that it likely never entered circulation, possibly being pulled from a mint set or caught early by a sharp-eyed collector. When the coin was first brought to auction, word spread rapidly through the numismatic community, with many collectors initially doubting the authenticity of such a spectacular combination of errors. However, once it was verified and certified by multiple grading services, the skepticism turned into fascination. The auction that followed became one of the most intense bidding wars in modern coin history, with collectors and investors from around the world competing to own this once-in-a-lifetime piece. When the final hammer fell, the price of $6 million made headlines globally, establishing the 1992P quarter as not only the most valuable quarter of the modern era, but also one of the most expensive U.S. coins ever sold. What makes this story even more remarkable is that it challenges the traditional idea that only old or precious metal coins can be worth millions. This 1992 quarter, minted in the age of automation, proves that even a modern coin struck from everyday materials can achieve astronomical value when struck under extraordinary circumstances. Many theories have emerged about how exactly this coin came to exist in such a flawed yet beautiful state. Some experts suggest that it could have been the result of a malfunctioning press during a transition phase between different die sets, while others believe it might have been an experimental strike that accidentally escaped the mint. The combination of an off-metal planchet, doubling, off-center alignment, and die clash makes this a statistical impossibility in regular production runs, yet somehow it exists, preserved as a tangible reminder of imperfection's strange allure. Even the coloration of the coin, slightly warmer and more reflective than usual, adds to its mystique, possibly indicating exposure to unusual heat treatment or improper annealing before striking. Every detail tells a story of chance, oversight, and serendipity, showing how even the most advanced minting systems are still susceptible to human and mechanical unpredictability. For collectors, this coin represents the ultimate prize, a perfect storm of minting chaos captured forever in metal, a symbol of how rarity and error can elevate an ordinary piece of currency into a priceless artifact of history. The 1992 quarter worth $6 million now resides in a private collection, safely encapsulated and insured for its full appraised value, but its legacy continues to ripple through the collecting community. It has inspired countless enthusiasts to inspect their change more closely, hoping to stumble upon the next multimillion-dollar mistake hiding in plain sight. This coin story also serves as a reminder that even in an age of technology and precision, accidents can still produce beauty and value beyond imagination. Every imperfection on this coin, the double design, the crack, the clash, the off-center strike, and the strange metal composition, tells part of a bigger narrative of how art, machinery, and luck collided in the most unexpected way. The 1992 quarter will forever be a legend in numismatics, a coin that transformed an ordinary year into a historical milestone and turned a small piece of metal into a symbol of unimaginable worth. It stands as proof that hidden treasures still exist in the most common of places, and that sometimes the smallest details can lead to the biggest fortunes, capturing the dreams of collectors everywhere who continue to believe that their next handful of change might just hold the next $1 million miracle.